Hello and welcome back to the 5th chapter of How to Actually Improve at Monster Hunter. Each chapter prior to this has been a preparation for executing this behavior through showcasing the premier monster and how to effectively dispatch them. This chapter I'd like to talk in more of a general sense when it comes to creating and capitalizing on openings. If you originally thought this was similar to toppling the monster and hitting a vital point, then I'm sorry to disappoint you. The only difference between creating an opening and capitalizing on one is who caused it. Creating requires you to have opened the monster up to the possibility of an exploit, while capitalizing is taking advantage of a monster exposing itself. While I could just separate the two and teach them individually, some of these concepts merge, as one can only happen because of the other. Yet if one does occur, then it's still possible to enact its counterpart. We'll go over a few of them in a beginner-friendly manner. Monsters have built-in mechanics that make certain actions less effective. There are several species-specific ways these can be achieved. One form is by breaking monster parts. Removing Pookie Pookie's tail hampers its ability to spew poison, resulting in the attack losing its knockback property. It can still poison you, you just have to be very close, and it won't flinch you. After breaking Barioth's wing, it struggles to maintain balance after certain attacks, which will cause it to fall over briefly. These inhibitors can give some much needed time for positioning, continued setup, combo strings, and more. It can appear the same when a monster is exhausted, such as Lunagaron and Tigrex, who fall over while they're charging. The second form is interrupting a monster's action. This is vastly different from just flinching or canceling an altered state. Interrupting a monster's action is built into the monster's mechanics, whether that be of your own doing or environmental. Easiest example is Volvidon, who can be toppled if it takes damage to the head while it's rolling. This stops it from continuing its attack, as well as giving some much needed breathing room to attack it. For Bishaten, it can fall over and drop all of its fruit if enough damage is dealt to the tail in its tripod stance. Tripod meaning it's standing up on its tail. That's what the official term is. I looked it up just to make sure I had it right. Last example is Rachna Kadaki. This one is a bit harder to achieve, as you have to cut the web it uses to travel during certain attacks in order to topple it. These aren't the only monsters with features designed to screw them over while taking damage, but others can be halted by the environment. Monsters that have all or nothing charges can be stuck or stopped if they come into contact with a pillar. Monsters like Tigrex, Diablos, and Barioth. Tigrex and Diablos can become stuck and take several seconds to release themselves, while Barioth will crash and halt. I could swear there was a point in history if Diablos crashed into a wall without horns enough times, it'd get stunned, but I may have died in that reality and my consciousness transferred to this one, so I'm not too sure. But like Barioth, if a Diablos with no horns crashes into a wall, it will stop moving. Tanking attacks are also an effective way to create a potential opening. Some monsters have attacks that only flinch you or knock you on your butt. Sometimes these flinch-based attacks are designed to stagger you long enough to inconvenience you for the follow-up attack. Other times, they're just one-off moves that you can use and abuse by way of decorations like flinch-free, or certain weapon attacks that prevent flinching or damage reactions. A beneficial way is to spot the incoming attack while neutral or mid-action and commit to it. Another effective way is by knockback-resistant additives like the Intrepid Heart skill, or counters and knockback-resistant attacks like Silkbind skills. Performing these actions properly will see you eating a reasonable amount of damage in order to hopefully open up the monster and gain a bit of headway to reset or try again. Hopefully you're not eating too much damage, because absorbing a hit still can kill you. The usage of items is a good way of creating opportunities as well. We should all know the rules. Flying monsters get flashed out of the sky. Digging monsters or sensitive hearing can be sonic boomed. Arzuros loves honey. Traps, both item and environmental, provide statuses or immobilization. Endemic life has an assortment of effects that can hinder a monster's ability to act. Most of these are trial and error, as there are certain conditions to do so. Daimyo Hermitor can be hit with sonic bombs only when it is protecting its body. Diablos can be taken out of its burrowing attacks if you throw a sonic bomb. If it's enraged, however, it will remain unfazed. This is contradictory to how it was in World, but we're back on track now, I guess. Monsters expose themselves in more ways than just glowing targets and broken parts, or us just causing them to fall over. The most exploitative is when the monster is recovering, or what might visually represent posing. This is usually seen after a powerful attack or a series of attacks. Goldrathian's Incandescent Fireball and Fireball combo leave her posing. Posing isn't unique to the series, but it is more prevalent in Generation 5, as previous generations saw monsters just ruthlessly attack with very minimal openings. You're going to have to experiment with your weapon and your playstyle against each monster's differences accordingly to maximize the moments. In addition to posing, some monsters may become stuck or lodged into something. Anjanath, Gosarag, and Nargacuga can end up stuck in the ground after powerful attacks, which sees their appendage lodged into the ground. Well, in this case, Anjanath's head. The minuscule amount of time you are provided is a window to making a choice play happen. So, to clarify, creating and capitalizing on openings is just another mental minigame during combat. The goal is to take advantage of opportunities as much as possible to maintain an efficient hunt. Also remember that you do not have to always attack during these opportunities. You can do passive things like heal or set up a trap or get your items ready, reload, do anything that you can. It's not always about damage. You're not going to be perfect. Not every opportunity you're presented will be followed up on immediately on your first few tries. I'd like to do something differently for this video, especially this one in particular. I'm going to forego the demo and the psycho hunt. The topic of this video should be understandable to the point where I could just paraphrase what I want you to understand. And I hope that you do understand. And maybe you're happy about there not being a demo or psycho hunt, maybe you're not. But tomorrow's episode is the final one for beginner-friendly topics. So, until next time.